You have reached Red Steele's Awesome Toy Collector Review. I'm your man, Red Steele, and today I'll be reviewing Transformers Kingdom Inferno. Transformers Kingdom Inferno. But before I get to the actual review, I just want to go over some of the spectacular details on this packaging. Up front here, a typical display window showing you both the figure and all of its accessories inside. Then above that, you have Inferno. Then in the corner, you have the Takara Tomy Transformers Generations logos. Then over here along the side it says Transformers. Then in the center here you have a beautiful illustration of Inferno in its fire truck mode, and below that you have the Transformers Kingdom War for Cybertron trilogy emblem. Then over here you have the 8+, which is the age requirement for this figure. Then in the corner you have the Hasbro logo. Then on the side here you have another beautiful illustration of Inferno, this time in his robot mode, and below that it states that he is a Voyager class. Then on the top of the packaging here, you have the Autobot logo, and next to that, again, you have the Transformers War for Cybertron trilogy logo. Then down here, you have the WCF-K19, which is his number in the Kingdom series. Then on the side of the packaging here, you have a beautiful montage of all the figures from Kingdom, starting with a side-by-side profile of Galvatron and Megatron. Up here you have Unicron. Below that you have Predacon Megatron, Tarantulas, Scorponok, and Dinobot. In the center here you have the Golden Disc. Then over here you have the Nemesis spaceship. Below that you have Rhinox. And below the Golden Disc you have the Ark. In the center here you have Optimus Prime. Next to him you have Optimus Primal and Cheetor. And below that you have Rat Trap. On the other side you have Bumblebee. Above him you have Airazor, RC, and below that Tigatron. Then over here you have the Transformer Authentic logo, and below that you have the Kingdom logo. Then on the back of the packaging here you have all of the figures features, such as Inferno in his robot mode and Inferno in his fire truck mode. Transformers Kingdom Voyager class Inferno. Inferno's Hasbro ID number is WFC-K19. His Takara Tomy ID number is KD-10. Inferno was released on April 4th, 2021, and Takara Tomy released their version on July 31st, 2021. He was sold at a suggested retail price of $31.99, and he was available at all major retailers. Inferno was released along with the other Transformers Kingdom Voyager class Wave 2 figure, Dinobot. Inferno is a G1 inspired figure that converts into his fire truck mode in 17 steps. His accessories include his extinguisher blaster, nozzle, 2 removable fire hoses, and instructions. Inferno stands 7 inches tall, and he is meant for fans ages 8 and up. Okay, now I want to go ahead and convert Inferno from his robot mode all the way to his fire truck mode. But the first thing you always want to do before you transform any of your Transformers, you want to remove all the weapons and accessories. So I'm going to go and take his blaster out of his hand, put it off to the side. Because the first step of the transformation, see these gray wings right here by his head? Do you want to go ahead and fold them back just like that? Step 2, you want to go and take his fist right here. You want to go and flip it right into his form. Just like that. Go into it to the other side, take this fist right here, flip it in, just like that. For step 3, right at the bicep there should be a little swivel, so they want you to go into the form, and just like that. Go into it to the other side, where it swivels the bicep, you want to take a forearm, turn it in just like that. In step 4, we're going to turn Inferno around, and just want to unmount his head, just like that. Step 5. On the bottom of his head here, you have this little control arm that attaches his head to his back. What you want to do is you want to go ahead and take that control arm, and you want to extend it so it comes all the way back, just like this. In step 6, you want to go ahead and take this headpiece and flip it in just like that. Step 7, they just want you to go ahead and take this ladder and fully extend it straight just like that. Now for step 8, we're going to go and take Inferno. He has his foot right here. I want to go and flip it up just like that. Do that to the other side, take his foot, flip it up just like that. Now on to step 9. The thicker part of this control arm is supposed to go right here in between his legs. You have a little peg right there, a little porthole right here. I'm going to go ahead and slightly bend it right there. So the thicker part of this control arm just sets in right there. You'll see where it sets in real nicely in between the legs. Or step 10, you want to take the two leg pieces right here. You want to kind of push them together just like that. Step 11, on the bottom of that headpiece right here, you got a couple pegs right there and right there. And on the bottom of the feet, you got a porthole right there and right there. I want to go ahead and peg in that headpiece so it goes right into those feet just like that. Then in step 12, we're going to take Inferno, take his arms and bring him out just like that. Do that to the other side. Take his arm and bring it down just like that. Now in step 13, you want to take these shoulder joints right here and right here. You want to untab them because there's a hinge joint right there and right there. After you untab them, you want to swing them back because one of the forearms has a porthole, the other forearm has a tab. You want to make it meet right in the middle just like that. Do that to the other side, unhinge that shoulder joint, bring that shoulder together, and where the forearms meet together, just kind of tab them into place just like that. Step 14, you get this front cab for the fire truck. Get the hinge joint right there. You got a couple pegs right there and right there. And at the bottom of the forearms, you got a couple portholes right there and right there. You want to bend everything back just like that. You want to tab in those forearm pieces just like that. Step 15 is a fairly simple step. All they want you to really do is take this ladder right here. You want to fold it all the way up just like that. Step 16 is another fairly simple step because all you're going to do is take this ladder right here and pull it all the way up just like that. Inferno's 17th and final step for his transformation, all they really want you to do is go and grab this ladder and angle it up just like this. And now you have Inferno in this full fire truck mode. Now that I have Inferno in his fire truck mode, I just want to go over some of his play features and accessories, first by talking about his removable hose. And he comes with two of them right there. Put the other one off to the side. In order to put this hose back on Inferno while he's in his fire truck mode, you got a 5mm peg right there. On the side of his fire truck, you have a 5mm porthole. Let's go ahead and just plug that right in just like that. I'm going to do that to the other side. Take that fire hose, just plug it right into that porthole just like that. And now you have Inferno with both his removable hoses. The next accessory I want to go ahead and talk about is his nozzle. And on the back of this nozzle here, you'll see a slotted porthole right there. Well, on this ladder here, you have this little slot right here. What they want you to go ahead and do is take this nozzle and just peg it right into the ladder, just like that. And now you have Inferno with his nozzle. So the next accessory I want to go and talk about is his fire extinguisher. And this fire extinguisher has a little porthole right there. At the end of the ladder here, you have this little peg right here. I believe it's 5mm also. Just plug that right in. And now you have Inferno with all of his accessories while he's in his fire truck mode. Both hoses, you have the nozzle right here, and you have the fire extinguisher. But also, according to the instructions, you can arm him with his blaster while he's in his vehicle mode. And you do that because you have this 5mm porthole right here. And both sides of the blaster, you have 5mm peg right there and right there. Let me see if I get it in focus. There we go. And all you have to do is just plug that right in. And now you have Inferno armed while he's in his fire truck mode. But I'm not a big fan of arming my Transformers while they're in their vehicle modes. It's kind of ridiculous, and it kind of defeats the purpose of them to disguise themselves in Earth vehicles if they got a big blaster projecting from the side of their vehicles. But I have to say this fire engine is very, very nice nod to the Generation 1 toy and animated model from the cartoon series. And I happen to have a Generation 2 on hand. I didn't bust out my Generation 1 because both Generation 1 and 2 versions of Inferno are almost identical. And as you can see, this one's a little bit aged. The wheels don't really roll like they used to, but I mean, the original Generation 1 toys were actually utilized as two different toys. You know, you get a vehicle out of it, and you also get a robot. So it was pretty cool. With Inferno, you do have Inferno. Inferno is able to roll on all the wheels. A lot of the new War for Cybertron Legacy and Studio Series figures, a lot of the chassis or the chassis of the vehicles rub against the floor. This one doesn't really have that issue. It's slightly, you have a slight roll for the wheels. It's nicely done. So actually it does roll. And when I go ahead and rotate this around, you can kind of see a lot of the similarities and differences between both the Generation 1, Generation 2, and the Kingdom version of Inferno. Very nicely done figure. I'm gonna put it off to the side. So I want to go over some of the details. Like I said, the accessories are a nice touch. The rolling wheel is a nice touch. You get the extending ladder that goes in and out, up and down. You have the rolling wheels. You have like it's painted details, not like rubber wheels like the original. Let me bring out the Generation 2 version again. You have the rubber wheels here, and then they roll nicely. And you have some metal here. You have die-cast metal here. But with the Kingdom version of Inferno, you have some nice detail also. You have the painted detail right here. You have like a translucent black windshield here with the windows here, and you can tell that the parts here. Let me see if they've been painted. No, they have not been painted. You do see some translucent black that were painted with red here. It kind of bleeds through the paint a little bit, but I mean the detail here is not too bad. Really nicely done figure. But let me go and rotate this around so you guys see what Inferno looks like from all angles. And I have to say he's done really well. I mean, the transformation for Inferno getting into his fire truck mode is very reminiscent of the Generation 1, Generation 2 version of Inferno. Now that I have Inferno in his robot mode and on my display table, I once again want to talk about some of his play features and accessories. First, I want to go ahead and talk about the removable fire hoses again. And there's also a way to arm Inferno while he's in his robot mode with these removable hoses. And you want to go ahead and do the same thing. On the side of the leg here, you have 5mm porthole. On the back of the hoses, as I said earlier, you have 5mm peg. Just go ahead and peg that right into place, just like that. I'm going to do that to the other side. Go and peg this hose right into the side of the leg, just like that. So the next accessory I want to go ahead and bring in is that fire extinguisher right there. And again, in the back, as I told you earlier on, is a 5mm porthole. But this time, at the side of Inferno's head, you got a 5mm peg. You want to go and peg that fire extinguisher in just like that. And if you're a big fan of the Generation 1 cartoon series, you're going to know what I'm going to do with this next thing. You got this nozzle right here. And Inferno did not have a right hand in the cartoon series. He had that nozzle. In order to arm him with this nozzle, you just take this fist here, and you flip it right into the forearm, just like you did during the transformation. But at the end of the wrist right here, you'll see a 5mm porthole. At the end of this nozzle here, you'll see a 5mm peg. Just go ahead and peg that nozzle in, and now you have him with his nozzle as he does in the cartoon series. And he also comes with his blaster. And this blaster is pretty standard, has a 5mm peg for the handle right here. Each one of his fists has a 5mm porthole. You go ahead and just poke that right in. And now I have Inferno armed with all of his accessories. And he's a really nicely done figure. And Inferno has a very, very special place in my heart because back in the summer of 1983, we took a family trip to Japan. And we happened to go to a Japanese mall. And Japanese malls, they do a lot of giveaways. And they had a little cage with a little ball in it, and a little crank, and I pulled it out and I got this character. And you're saying, well, 1983, that was before even Generation 1 came out in the United States. Well, then the toy that I ended up winning was a die clone version of Inferno, which I still own. I just need to find somewhere in my vault somewhere. But, he was my first one, and then when Transformers came out, I had this Transformer that I couldn't identify, which was Inferno. But he did end up coming out in Series 2 in 1985, so it took 2 years before my Inferno was significant to the cartoon series or the toy line. But I'm very, very glad that Inferno's been able to, still be produced 40 years later in various toy lines. But, I mean, this figure was done really, really nicely. And I'm going to go ahead and bring out my Generation 2 version of Inferno and do a side-by-side comparison. Because even with the technology back in the 70s when they originally designed Inferno, I mean, he was the premier figure for that toy line. He was nicely done. I mean, you can see the chrome detail with the original Generation 2 figure. But if I go and rotate him around, you guys see the similarities and differences. And you know what? Inferno's not really dated too much, you know, considering that he is over 40 years old now. Really nice done figure. And I'm glad that Kingdom did everything they could to kind of keep some of the features from the original toy alive. In Generation 2, the difference is there's no spring-loaded forearms. Generation 1, you had fists that were spring-loaded. You push a button and the side and the fist would fly out. And the Generation 2 did not include the nozzle, or the missiles, what it was originally with the original Generation 1 cartoon, or not cartoon, original toy. He had the little missile, so that ended up transferring over to becoming a nozzle in the cartoon series for Generation 1, and with a lot of the other later toy lines. I want to go ahead and move Generation 2 Inferno off to the side, because I want to go ahead and bring in his companions that were also released during the War for Cybertron, which was, I believe, Grapple was released during Earthrise. And he is indeed a retool. As you can see, they have a different paint scheme or color scheme, and it looks like Grapple's a little shorter than Inferno for some reason. Not sure where the retool happened, where it made Inferno taller, because Inferno was released with Kingdom, and he was released in Earthrise. But as you can see, that the head sculpts were retooled. You know, he's a redeco also, which means he has a different paint scheme. The arms look very similar, the legs look very similar. I just can't see where he gained height at when he became Inferno. But as you can see, with the back here, you have the crane hook instead of the ladder. So he's a direct retool. Because I'm going to go ahead and bring in Artfire now. And Artfire is just a redeco of Kingdom Inferno. And actually, I believe Artfire came out before Inferno did. So actually, Inferno is just a redeco of Artfire. Artfire, of course, comes with his Target Master here. And he was really nicely done. I'm going to go and rotate this around so you can see what all three figures look like from all angles. Really nicely done. I'm really happy with the War for Cybertron series. They just went above and beyond with all the figures. But I'm going to bring Grapple and Artfire off to the side, because the next figure I want to do a side-by-side comparison. And I told you guys I have this vault full of Transformers. And I can actually do these reviews where I could just do a lot of side-by-side comparisons. I know last few I've kind of slacked, saying that I didn't want to go into my vault. But I went ahead and pulled out Masterpiece Inferno. And as you see, there's a big scale difference. He's got a very blocky, simplistic look. There's not a lot of detail in a lot of the Inferno's pieces here. But, you know, I have to say I do find the Kingdom version of Inferno a little bit more appealing. He's more my cup of tea. I think he has a good blend of both the animated model from the Generation 1 cartoon series, which this is what he's totally based on. He's got that blocky look, very simplistic look, where when he was animated they took a lot of details away. But I do like the Kingdom version of Inferno a little bit more than I like the Masterpiece version of Inferno. You see the ladder detail kind of got lost in you know, the transformation. I can't remember if the Generation cartoon series, if he still had the ladder. But I think this is still my definitive version of Inferno. I mean, I do like the Masterpiece version. And it's very, you know, seldom situations where I do prefer the main release version of the figures over the Masterpiece. But if you guys found any of the information in this review valuable, please like and share this video. Also, if you really enjoy my content, please subscribe to my channel. I want to thank you guys for watching Red Steele's Awesome Toy Collector Review. I'll check you guys out next time.